Yeah, we can begin. I think you can see the screen.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So the first position is black to play. And how do you think black should proceed in this position?
Can you flip the board?
Yes.
Well, well, he doesn't really have any choice but to take on G2, right? Every other move is just straight up
Hmm.
bad or losing. So he has to take on G2, I think.
Okay.
So that's the first thing. Black will take, I mean, white will take the black pawn. I'll take up on H2.
Okay.
And then will he play E5 next, white,
Uh,
or something?
no, E5, I think you just take, yeah. Rook C5, King D6, and then I'll play F5.
Hmm, I
But
see.
but I can play Rook A7, King,
F6.
King F6, Rook B7.
I think that's okay, right? I play King E5.
King E5, Rook E7.
Back to F6.
So,
He repeats. Oh,
yeah, I mean, I'll make a draw, yeah. Black is trying to win actually that position.
right.
So this is basically as we just discussed, yeah, this position deals with the activity of the king. So the first variation that you gave was basically using your already active rook, yeah. So you were, I mean, the piece which is already active, you were using that.
Yeah,
But
it's looking at king f6, king e5. I understand that.
yeah, you can start with king f6, king e5, and then see how things are, because this you will eventually pick up. It's not that big of a problem. Actually, king f6. So
Well,
yeah,
will I definitely pick it up? Can you not hold it with the king? I guess then
uh,
e4. Well, e4 is defended too, actually. Yeah,
yeah,
so if he plays something like king f3 or something,
king f3 right now, king e5.
h4.
h4.
Oh, you have king b. I'm sorry, rook b4, I think, maybe.
Yeah, I can try rook b4, but I can also try rook b3 first, and then rook b4.
Hmm.
Makes more sense, I think.
Yeah.
So just rook b3. I mean, if you go back, it makes no sense.
Yeah, you have to play king g4, I think, right?
King g4, rook b4.
Now, if I trade, I'm too slow.
Yeah, trade too slow because I will catch the, and I mean, I'll just catch the pawn, I think.
Right.
Because if you take, I take with, well, let's say this pawn. So h5 is met with king f6, e5, king e5. Yeah. So king g5, b3 at 6. Yeah, I mean, okay, we are queening at the same time, but I think black has too many pawns.
Hmm.
Actually, I think no, rook b4, a b4, h5, b3 at 6, king f6, e5, and even I can take with the pawn first. Then d6, b2, d7. I mean, should be winning, yeah, for me. Queen, check, check. Looks to be winning at least.
Makes sense.
So actually, king f6 is the best attempt to play, but here, white played rook a5. So this is what was played in the game. This is a huge mistake. This actually falls into black's plan, yeah? So black just plays king e5, rook a7, rook b3, king f2, king e4, rook f7, rook b2, king g3, and c4. So white still has these pawns, but this one is too fast here.
Hmm.
So rook c7. And here I think black made a small mistake. Black played king d3, I think. Yeah, black played king d3, which was a mistake. Uh, and here white also played h4, which was a mistake. I mean, again, one of the most natural moves, but it's a mistake. Uh, Black's winning idea was king to d4 in this position, basically. So the point is with king on d4, you can play c3, c2, and you will threaten rook b3, rook c3.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So that's why king d4 was
Instead, what did black play instead of that move?
black with king d3.
Oh, okay, I see.
So black with king d3, and okay, white also responded with the mistake. So here there is some long analysis that rook c6 can or might still draw. So rook c6, c3, rook d6, rook b5, rook c6, rook d5, h4. So it's gonna convert into a rook versus pawn, yeah, at some point.
Hmm.
And this would have probably ended in a draw, but okay. After h4, c3, h5, c2, this looks winning for black because after h6, rook b1, king f4, c1 queen. So rook c1, rook c1, and okay, with the presence of these two pawns, it's impossible for white to do anything. So g4, rook f1, okay, king e4, king g6, rook g1. I'm pretty sure this should be lost here. This pawn will always be more than enough to like create something, let's just say. So I resigned after this. But here was the interesting thing. Like when king f6 was played, I mean, for some reason it seems that so king f3 and king f4 seems to be more valuable in this position, right, than rook a5. So king f4 also is very interesting here, and this might even make the position a draw.
Okay, black just takes the rook, I mean the pawn.
So if you take now, so I'll take.
I take the other one.
You take this one. Now rook a6.
Yeah. Yeah.
So here the problem is this. I think king g3, yeah?
Right.
And this should draw for sure. Well, actually, this computer is finding it, like table base is finding this to be winning. So are we missing something here? Yeah, I can play rook a7 here. I think this should be good enough to make a draw. Like now when you play rook h4, I will just go king e3. So I was thinking of something about this and rook at 6, so that for this we can play something like this. But here even e5, and I think this position should also be drawn. Let's check once. Yeah, it's already drawn. Yeah. I think the activity of king, as I said, was the most important, right? Like you can see now, black's king is completely out of play, and maybe that's the biggest reason why this position is not winning for black.
Mm.
Okay, no problem. We'll go to the next one, which is well, more interesting.
Okay.
Let's just see if we can figure it out. So the position right now is white to play. So I think white is trying to equalize this position. Rashid, would you give me
White
one
is trying to
minute?
draw this, you said, right?
Yes, yes. White is trying to draw this one.
Okay.
Okay. Could you give me 1 minute, please, Rafi? I'll just be back.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, back.
Okay. I think maybe in this one, the rook is best placed probably on c7, right?
Yes.
Behind the pawn.
Mm-hmm.
Keeping an eye on the h7 pawn, ready to check the king anytime, stuff like that. So I'll probably just play rook c6, rooks, and just kind of stay there. Rook c7 maybe next. And but hold on, let me see if that's the first thing I gotta do or sure, I can play rook c6 first. Let's do that. King, let's just say f1.
F1. But king F1, king F3.
Sorry, actually, yeah, e1 is better actually.
Yeah, but
I'll
here
move
king
back.
E1, I think I'll still go king F3.
Um, g4. I think I'm losing now. That's just too many pawns coming. Maybe I
Yes.
can try a4, but I think king is about to get really strong with g3, king g3, f2,
It's just,
f3, all this kind of stuff.
but I think black is too fast here.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so maybe I need to keep the king from getting so active. I don't know, but if I check him, he can just go to d3. But that's better than coming this way. So yeah, maybe let's try that. Why don't I just play king rook e6 check?
King E6 check.
Yeah. I don't want that king to go towards those pawns, basically.
Okay, so I have to come here.
Push him that way. All right, so now a4.
Oh, I cannot play this. Sorry. Okay, I have to play this.
f3, king f3. Yeah, I think it's gonna be tough now because that C pawn is pretty dangerous. I don't have anything equivalent of that.
Yes. Okay, let's just have a look at what happened in the game and how that affected this position. Okay.
Okay.
So white played rook h7, rook c2, king e1, rook a2, rook e7, and king d3. Rook d7, king c2, rook d5, c3, rook f5. So white is trying to go for the standard rook versus pawn, yeah. But here the problem is white's king is too passive, right?
Mm-hmm.
So king b1, and already c2, c1 is coming. I don't think the king is there to support the pawns. So white tried his last trick of rook f1. I think so. He played, yeah, rook f1 was played, and black just played rook h2.
What happens if you had played rook just f7? I mean, sorry, c2.
C2 at which point? After rook f1?
Mm-hmm.
Rook c2? C2,
No, pawn c2.
pawn c2. I think it's winning as well. Maybe king f2, but I don't think this is like. So I think even here rook e2 or something wins here. Yeah, it's just winning. These two pawns are too behind, right? Like they cannot create any counterplay right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think if we take and just play king here and go back, I think this should be winning as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So the essence of the position is the reason why this was becoming a draw was because the king was getting too passive. Yeah, the king never got any activity, and versus pawn positions were lost because of the king's bad activity.
Yeah.
So the correct way is to start with rook h4 and then play rook h7, because now when you play rook c2, at least I have king f3. Yeah? So now when you go rook a2, let's say I go g4, so takes c3 to g5, c2, and rook c7. This definitely offers more chances to make the game a draw.
Can you go back again to the beginning?
Mhm.
All right. So what was the? Can you go one more time slowly?
So rook h4 check.
Mm-hmm. Wait, hold on. Go back, go back. How did the rook get to h4? Where was it again? Before that, in the starting position.
This was the starting position.
Oh, okay.
So you were playing rook c6. In the game, rook h7 happened. Now we are looking at rook h4.
Yeah.
So the difference between rook h4 and rook h7 is when black gives rook c2 check, you have this option, king f3.
Mm.
So now when rook a2 is played, I'm directly going for a rook versus, I mean, I'm hoping to get into a rook versus pawn situation. So c3, g5, c2, and rook c7.
Okay, so the key move was after rook h4 check,
Mm-hmm.
king d3.
Vacating
King
this
take.
square.
I see.
Also, interesting enough in this position, like even if we see the move rook h7, here also, rook d5 seems to be the losing mistake here. here I think still king e2 should have been played. Again, activating the king.
Let's see.
So I'm not saying this is winning by force or something, but maybe still gives better chances to make it a draw. I'll just check once. Yeah, this is a draw. So you can see white was still okay in this one. With rook at 7, yeah, this was the mistake. Yeah. So here also king e2 is still a draw. Basically, the takeaway from these positions are if you're not able to calculate it till the end, which I think is pretty normal with rook versus multiple pawns, we have to follow these rules that active king comes first, active rook comes next. Then only comes the thing of having the pawns equal. Yeah. So it's not about material at all. It's more about the activity. I mean, I think when white played rook d5, his opinion was that with two pawns, I can try to defend against the rook. But it's not possible, yeah, because the two pawns are way too behind in the race, and also the king is getting cut off. So having two pawns and a cut off king is not that great, but having one pawn and an active king is like, helping more for a draw here.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, this is also very relatable because we have seen a lot of rook versus pawn endgame previously. And in that, we know already these things are like the active king will always make better chances to get a draw.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll try to see one more.
Okay.
So it's black to play in this position. Um, there is no clear-cut evaluation or any results here. Just from a very practical point of view, if you were playing as black in this position, how would you have continued?
Yeah, Anwesh.
Yes, Rafi.
Okay, so my electricity went out.
Ah, okay, no problem.
So yeah, let's switch internet. Okay. I think maybe I don't know. I feel like White's two pawns, connected pawns, are very really strong here. D and C pawns. I think we need to break that up.
Okay, so
Those
how do
two
we do
connected
that?
pawns with the rook behind it might be really strong if I don't do anything about that. Possibly, but although the king can come behind it and stop it, on the light squares or dark squares or something like that. But that's one idea. Uh,
Actually, I think yeah, your idea is kind of correct. You definitely need the rook behind the pawn. Actually, this was very clearly seen from the game. In the game, black was just way too greedy and played rook takes a3. And here came rook c1. Now, white got behind his pass pawn, yeah?
yeah,
So king e8, c6, king d8, c7, king c8, d6. And all of a sudden, it looks like it's just game over, yeah? You have to play rook b3. It's kind of forced because I was threatening d7. So rook d3, and I think now rook c6 will come.
yeah.
And there is just no way to defend against so many threats, I would say.
All right. So okay. So uh, you don't have time to take on D6.
Uh, yeah, I mean, if you take, I just take. And well, this is just a lot of pawns. Yeah, I mean, this can never work for the
No,
defending side.
I mean like not sacrificing the rook. I mean like I was just thinking that somehow like before rook B8 came, we would be taken on D6, but that's not happening. No, no way to do that.
Yeah, no way. So I mean, yeah, it's so first of all, this is defended, yeah. And even if you
Yeah.
like, let's just say I play rook b6 and king d7, and let's just say it's still black to move, you still cannot take it, right? Because I just take, I mean, I have this pawn. So for example, I mean, just hypothetically speaking, yeah. So let's say in this position, I don't react and play king f1. You cannot still do anything. It's like a typical case of protected pass pawns.
Yeah, definitely.
So this doesn't work. And yeah, so I think here rook d6. So probably c8 queen takes, and these two pawns will be easily controlled. So many extra pawns here right now. So it's impossible basically to play against this. Rook versus
Definitely.
pawn will only work. I mean, if the defending side has one pawn or two pawn, and the attacking side, so the rook side has no pawns probably. If if there are presence of multiple pawns, then it's not going to work for sure.
Yeah.
So rook a3 obviously was a mistake. Similarly, rook d2 is also a mistake. Rook d2, so I think just rook e5 comes here. So black didn't achieve anything. But as you mentioned, yeah, we can try to get behind the pawn, right? Straight away.
Yeah.
So this is very strong because now c6 is forced. And now black plays king e7. So activity of the king.
Right.
And now rook e5, king d6. So now the pawns are blocked. Now white's rook will be always busy defending this pawn somehow. That means black will create some counterplay with the b pawn. Now white's pawns are not dangerous at all.
Mm.
Because in order to dislodge an active king like this, white's rook is necessary actually on d7, yeah? If he manages to get to d7, then white will push for a win. But there is no way he can do that right now. So we'll just check quickly. So yeah, it's already equal, yeah? So there is nothing left in this position anymore. It's like easily drawn. White has no chances.
Yeah.
Okay. So this I think is,
Makes sense.
I mean, all these examples just clearly show how active king is like extremely necessary. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Can see it.
There is there was this famous game from Capablanca. I would just like to show you here. So it has lots of analysis, but just just to have a look at this position. Generally speaking, when we see this position, yeah, it looks like black's rook is pretty active on the queen side, and white has a lot of weak pawns on the queen side as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just one factor, yeah, that black's king is cut off on the edge and white's king is free. This kind of defines the game already in white's favor here. So you can see how Capablanca converted this position. He started with king g3, rook c3 check, king h4. So here rook f3 was a mistake, but we are focusing on the winning idea right now. So g6, rook f4, king g5,
G5 and King F6 he played.
and king f6. Yeah, so remember this, right? Umbrella idea we saw,
Yeah.
taking shelter behind this pawn, and now it's just lost because white's king became way too active. And now, okay, so this is an invitation to go into a king and pawn endgame where white will definitely be faster. And okay, white just picks up every single pawn right now.
Mm.
So when the game started, yeah, like when the position started, it was actually, when I saw this position the first time, my first impression was black will be able to pick up many pawns on the queen side. On the other hand, white will try to create something with these three things to maximum make it a draw. This was my first impression. When the game ended, yeah, like on the last position, you can say, so something around this position, it was white who actually picked up all the queenside pawns. Black didn't even manage to get to any of the pawns. So in this variation again, we'll see if rook d3 was played, yeah. nothing special. Yeah, white will still play g6, rook d4, king g5, can get to king f6. So very simple. I think this position, yeah. So there was this huge analysis with a6, and I mean maybe from a very purely academical purpose, a6 is necessary to analyze. But even here, they came up with king h5, and in this position also king g8. I think it makes a draw. So some long analysis is there, but okay, not very sure about this one right now. But just to show how this active king matters a lot, so you can see black's passive king and white active kings actually decide the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think this is very useful because I think so. Just give me 1 second. I had an encounter where like something similar I encountered, and just a second. Yeah, so this was one of my endgame positions. So so here also you can see, yes, since white's king is no way it can get active, I cannot convert this pawn, yeah, extra pawn. So initially I was very confident that this position is just winning. So I had this position. So d4, rook d5. So you play b4, d4, and this position. So I actually thought this is very easily winning, and I made some loose moves with b6, and I completely missed king e4. Like for some reason, my only calculation was this and king d3 and then b4. Like I was only calculating this position. Like I'll get b4, b5. Even if he comes here, I'll just go here. Because if he goes here, then I win the king pawn endgame. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I completely missed that he will first activate his king. And now when I do this, he blocks. So this makes a huge difference right now. So that means here also I could have won the game. Instead of b6, I should have just activated my king. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, at least to try, this would have been much better. But as a result, he got a lot of activity, and then he even got some more activity with the pawn. Now I have to be super careful. And okay, this is just a draw right now. I can never win
Mm.
this one.
Yeah. See that.
Yeah, so again, I would just say that the biggest take from this is like whenever you have an option of activity of the king and the rook or both, you should probably go for it more than the material. Yeah, I mean more than one pawn somewhere or one non-important pawn. It's okay, you can ignore that, but better to go for the activity.
Gotcha. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a good point.
yeah,
It's
because
yeah.
practically, I know people will go behind the pawns. Yeah,
Yeah. Right.
so. But yeah, I mean, this actually marks the end of this king activity topic. I mean, at least the positions that I collected for today. So
Okay.
we can probably finish, and tomorrow we'll try to wrap up the rook versus knight thing. Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good, man.
great, great. Okay.
All right, man.